I think this is a deadly serious challenge to the Senate's constitutional advice and consent role. And as a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, I'll engage in the confirmation process where we consider the qualifications, the ethics and character, and the policy views of nominees. I just heard your reporting where Senator Rubio was saying the president's entitled to his pick.
Today, Donald Trump announced that he was nominating Republican Matt Gaetz to head up the DOJ as his Attorney General. And immediately, Matt Gaetz resigned from Congress to potentially fill this role. Now, that means one of two things will happen. Matt Gaetz will be nominated formally by the Senate and become the AG, which would be a nightmare, or he just willingly gave up his seat in Congress, which still stands as a possibility, considering some news we got today about top Republican officials who oppose Matt Gaetz. Now again, the Senate majority is held by Republicans, but it is not that large. Some key breaks with Trump could lead to not only Matt Gaetz not getting this position, but like I said, no longer being a member of Congress. And that is a possibility. And some news that we are going to check out in just a second. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really means the world to me now. Like I said, there are senators who were already speaking out and opposing Gaetz. But before we get into that, I want to hear what one senator said a couple of months ago in this clip right here.
You got to think about this guy. This is a guy that the media didn't give a time of day to after he was accused of sleeping with an underage girl. And there's a reason why no one in the conference came and defended him, because we had all seen the videos he was showing on the House floor that all of us had walked away of the girls that he had slept with. He'd brag about how he would crush ED medicine and chase it with an energy drink so he could go all night. This is obviously before he got married. And so when that accusation came out, no one defended him, and then no one on the media would give him a time of the day. All of a sudden he found fame because he opposed the Speaker of the House back in November. And he's always stayed there, and he was never going to leave until he got this last moment of fame by going after a motion to vacate.
Now that was Republican Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, who justifiably was calling out Matt Gaetz then, but has now said he will support him, which of course is what we can expect from these spineless Republicans. But like I said, there are still some who oppose him, but it's difficult for them to even do so, because think about it. What are they going to say? That there are investigations into his crimes. They voted for a felon already. They say he's unqualified or too extreme. They voted for a reality TV show host already. Now, I'm not saying they should support Matt Gaetz, but look how low the GOP has gone. It is embarrassing. It is sad. And it is exactly what Democratic Senator Chris called out right here.
Well, Jake, when I was first informed that President-elect Trump had nominated Congressman Matt Gaetz to be the next Attorney General, I was speechless. I've had some time to gather my thoughts. I think this is a deadly serious challenge to the Senate's constitutional advice and consent role. And as a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, I'll engage in the confirmation process where we consider the qualifications, the ethics and character, and the policy views of nominees. I just heard your reporting where Senator Rubio was saying the president's entitled to his pick. And generally, that's correct. But the Senate has a critical guardrail function to play where we should look at whether someone is appropriate to serve in a role. The Attorney General is the top law enforcement officer of the United States.
We know how low Republicans are willing to go, and we have to do everything we can to call them out, to put pressure on them to vote. No on Matt Gaetz, but it's not just Democrats who are calling for this to be done. We saw today, after this news broke, reports of not only Republicans laughing at how ridiculous the notion of Matt Gaetz as Attorney General would be, but some coming out in direct opposition, and that's what I want to get into right here. I was shocked. Susan Collins, because becomes first GOP senator to oppose Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. Republican Senator Susan Collins became the first Republican senator on Wednesday to say that she will not vote for President-elect Donald Trump's pick for Attorney General Representative Matt Gaetz. I was shocked at the nomination, Collins told Punchbow's Max Cohen. This is why the Senate's advice and consent process is so important. I'm sure that there will be many questions raised at Mr. Gaetz' hearing. She added, so we have one Republican senator saying that they will vote no. And it seems like there are a couple more that could follow. But of course, Donald Trump still has the opportunity to ram Gaetz through with a recess appointment. And of course, do whatever he can to avoid any accountability. It's what we've come to expect from Donald Trump. And the fact that Matt Gaetz could become Attorney General Matt Gaetz through a rec appointment is a lot of irony, considering the young women that Matt Gaetz seems to like so much. I know that's kind of a gross joke, but we need to keep it a little light in this moment. And someone who certainly wanted to do that was CNN's Scott Jennings, who had a different reaction than we did to this news.
Are you not entertained? I mean, this is the most entertaining transition I've ever seen. No, I was as surprised as Paula, because it's not a name that we had seen. You know, we'd seen some reporting, a lot of different names, frankly, a lot of really sort of well-heeled Washington legal types that were on the list. So I'm as surprised as anyone. But what I take away from this is that this is a president-elect who is feeling his power. I mean, this is someone who is appointing people to things, whether it's Gaetz or anything else we've seen today, who is feeling his power, feeling his influence, doesn't feel like he's in a mood to negotiate with the people in Washington, D.C. He's here to do what he wants to do, and he's going to expect the Republicans to fall in line. Now, all these people, whether it's Gaetz or Hegseth or anyone else, have to go to confirmation and go through these committee hearings and prove themselves like anyone else. But it is apparent to me that Trump is in a decisive mood and is not someone who's interested in picking things that he would consider to be watered down. So that's my initial reaction to this one. I mean, we truly learned about it 2 seconds before we came on here, so pretty wild day.
Am I entertained, Scott, by someone who wants to weaponize the Justice Department, a criminal who wants to make sure that they are never held accountable? Yes, I'm talking about Donald Trump and Ma Gaetz. No, Scott, I'm not entertained. This is real life. This is a real country, and I'm scared, as we all should be. And the only thing that we can bank on at this point, the only hope we can really have besides using our voices, is that Republican infighting screws this over. And it seems like a possibility, especially with what Marjorie Taylor Greene said today.
We should have a major majority, a super majority, but we don't. And we don't have that, I think, is based on the performance of this Congress. This Congress has had a lot of failures in the eyes of our voters, in the eyes of the American people. The American people gave a mandate last Tuesday of the types of policies they want, the agenda that they want, and that's President Trump's policies that he laid out on the campaign.
Is Speaker Johnson to blame for that?
Yes, his leadership. Unfortunately, he fully passed the Biden-Harris agenda.
There is already Republican infighting in the House with such a slim majority. And another bright side from this, Matt Gaetz has resigned his seat in Congress. So Donald Trump, majority in the House, just got that much smaller. And are some Republicans who might want to see a different speaker, and so there could be a fight there. We could see lots of the MAGA civil war that we love and that we certainly need right now, which would be one of the many, but kind of one of the few roadblocks in the way of Donald Trump. Again, we have to continue to advocate and use our voices, but seeing MAGA fight with each other, that's going to get in their way, and we need more of that. But like I said, it's a possibility that it's not just Susan Collins who's voting against Matt Gaetz, and that's what we saw CLA McCall say in this clip right here.
Yeah, there's a couple of things about this. First, I have to think that there are more than 4 votes that would not show up for Matt Gaetz in the Republican caucus. I did a quick rundown of the Republican senators, and I came up with 11 names that I think would likely oppose a Matt Gaetz. Now, half or more of those could disappoint America, and vote for someone who is so wholly unqualified for this job in so many ways. But is Donald Trump nominating him so that he can get Tulsi Gabbard through, or maybe this Fox News contributor? You know, we've gone from only hiring the best people to only hiring people that are completely unqualified for the jobs that they are being nominated for. You know, the Fox News guy, he's never run anything. And this is a huge enterprise, the Department of Defense. Matt Gaetz has no experience that would lend itself towards running the Department of Justice and everything that's involved there. And people think the Department of Justice is just about, you know, who's getting prosecuted, that we're talking about on national news. We're talking about a huge swath of criminals in this country and running a department with integrity, going after bad guys that are breaking the law, whether it's drugs or bank robberies or other serious crimes, criminal enterprises that are complex and difficult. I mean, Andrew can tell you all this. It is shocking. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be shocked, but it sure is nervy for somebody who has his own ethical problems to be nominated for a job that has had really some stellar men and women running that department in my lifetime.
There is still a possibility that this does not all devolve into madness. It is still possible that Matt Gaetz just gave up his seat in Congress for nothing. We can hope, we can pray. But we have to continue to fight and talk about it. And that's what we're going to be doing on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you're stuck around at the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.